education chief, whose name is Krishna Swami Kasturi Ranjan. And under the presidency of this very personality, this education means policy was initiated in our country. As you know, making the official announcement on Wednesday, 29th of July 2020, the Central Education Minister Prakash Javadekar, the cabinet under Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given approval to this new education for 21st century. It is important changes in the education policy that came in after this there will and modernize of this new education system is to give technology based education. As you know, universal high quality education is the best way forward for developing and maximizing our country's rich talent and resource for the good of the individual, the society, and the country and the world. Today, without technology based and skill based education, we are not demanded and recommended everywhere. So, education. So now I'm going to throw a light in new education policy 2020. As you know, before going to discuss this, I want to throw some light or highlight the features of new education policy 2020. Secondary level with 100% gross enrollment ratio that we initially called GER in school education by 2030. The main agenda is many students are drop out from our schools. Maybe many reasons behind this, but this education policy has its main agenda to bring these all students to school campus. If you take a rough data, means it will account 2 crore children who by 2030 to school who are drop out. This is one of the main agenda of this national education policy. As per the new policy, there will be 12 years of schooling with 3 years of Anganwadi and preschooling. And you have heard about the structure of this new education policy, which is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. And we will also have a brief analysis of this structure. So the first, its structure is preschool. There will be 12 years of schooling with 3 years of Anganwadi that we also call preschooling. In 15 years, affiliation system to be phased out with graded announced autonomy to college, and the next one to increase the public investment in the education sector to reach 6% of GDP at the earliest, and for this both the center and the state will work together to enhance the desired target. Its main target is to bring 2 crore children by 2030 to school who are dropout. So now I'm also going to tell some of the visions of the National Education Policy 2020. And as you know, this is totally skilled based. Means the purpose of this education policy is to bring skill education in our country, which many of the developed countries of world earlier adopted. But we are still behind. That is why this new education policy is remoduled So here are given some key points of NEP. Respect for diversity and local content. First of all, this education policy is not rigid regarding language policy. Means its main focus is to provide family environment to students where they can learn in a happy classroom. This can be happen if you provide them local language flexibility. There should not be rigidity of the language, only then. That's why means giving biological diversity respect. All types of students should be given respect in the classroom. Recognizing the importance of India's classical languages will undoubtedly give learner a holistic worldview. Holistic means all around development. But earlier education policy was only focused on literacy based. But this education policy is also based on co-curricular activities. Beside this education system, we will also have to involve many co-curricular activities that can help the student for different types of development. And there is a layer of social characters among the students that can help the student for different types of development. As you know, our constitution consisting so many things like as you know, fundamental rights and fundamental duties. Many of the citizens in our country, they are unaware of the fundamental duties. So by providing this, they can be. So these types of things will be implemented in the education system for future development. And the next one is used to technology. As you know, technology is the very important aspect of today's world. So in teaching and learning, removing language barriers, physically disabled students. Uh, we teachers also find many of the students who are physically disabled, but we should not ignore them. We should also respect them in the class. We should provide them all types of facilities so can they can also develop their skill. And in education planning and management, optimum use of technology are for all types of children in the policy. So this is the main focus of this new education policy. Next, unique capability. How can we make students unique in the classroom? How can we develop all around things which can be betterment for their future? Recognizing and identifying them in the each student. And this is the foremost duty of ours that we can do in the classroom. Already we are having under this structure. So recognizing and identifying them in each student, how it translate hidden and children should be identified and made for the work. As you know, this education policies consist of so many features. If we means take out the things in our classroom and they can be effective. Now I'm going to tell some more points about these education policies. Now major changes in the school education under this policy. Now I'm going to talk about so early childhood care and education, the foundation of learning. Earlier, you know, CC pattern was going on, and there was so many error. But now this policies rectified it and made more holistic based on activity. Means this education policy is totally based on activity based activities based on learning language number counting color sport logical and so many things are means involved in this education policy which can be betterment for the students for their skill development. This we can consider under co-curricular activities like game dancing music. There are different types of student in the classroom. They have different types of abilities and we must give respect to their means these types of interest. If you are not going to meet the interest of students in the classroom, they will think that they are like marginalized. So there should not be feeling of marginalization among the students. these types of happening is going on, their energy and interest will be reduced. So by doing so, we can also change these types of environment in our education system. Now, I'm going to tell you the structure of this education. As you know, earlier compared to age was 6 to 14 years, but under this new education policies, compulsory education age is going to be increased from 3 to 18 years. And as you know, Compulsory Education Act, which was implemented in 2009, and this was most important step of the central government regarding the development of education system. So now, curtailing dropout rates. As you know, dropout rates is very high in our education system, and the main focus of the government is to reduce dropout. And how can we do so? We can do this by giving different types of facilities which can erase all the problems in the path of education system. On that way, government is working. So earlier education system was modified, and the structure of today's education system is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. That is 15 years education. And first stage of this education is foundation stage for 5 years. For 3 to 8 years, old children. And it will be more for the classes like Anganwadi and preschool, and that will take the students of class 1, class 2, and 3 years of Anganwadi system. And this will be totally based on natural environment, and there will be no burden for the student regarding the syllabus or anything. And we will have to provide them happy environment where they can read and write like with a mother care. And the next one is preparatory stage for 3 years education. Reminding once again, and we are talking about the 5 plus 3 plus 3 and 4. This is the structure of NEP 2020. And the first one I have told the 5 years, that is 3 years pre school system and class 1 and class 2. And the next one is preparatory stage for 3 years for ages of 8 to 11th years of children. And this stage will include the student who are under 8 to 11th years of age. And it will be consist of class 3rd, 4th and 5th grade. These types of students will come under this preparatory age of education under new education policy 2020. The preparatory period will continue to emphasize language development. You might have faced many of the problems related to language among the students inside the class. And that is why this education, because this is the means the second stage of the students. And here we are able to eliminate all the barriers related to language development among the students. And means we can also make their language grip stronger. That can be betterment for the higher studies. So emphasis language development and abilities, play and activity. This stage is also known as burden-based education. Here we will have to provide a student like play and activity-based method teaching and learning. That is why they can be connected to their studies. If we will not provide these types of things, means they will not be connected to their academic sessions or activities, whatever it is going on in the classroom. That is why this education policy is modified. And the next, third, middle stage for 3 years under this 5 plus 3 plus 3 4 structure. And now I'm talking about middle stage for 3 years. And this stage consisting of students age group 11 to 14 years old, and the classes included in this middle stage is 6, 8, 7 and 8 grades. The 6, 7 and 8 class students are under this middle stage for 3 years education system. According to NEP 2020, this level of school instruction will focus on critical learning objectives, mainly absence of rote learning. This is the vital problem in our classroom or education system that is relevant and going on nowadays. Rote memorizing is not good for their means skill development. What happen in the classroom, if we force the students, they memorize it, but certainly they forget after some time, some years. That is why we should try to focus on not, there should not be any circumstances of rote memory. There should be development of understanding among the students. So this stage is mainly means a module for removing the rote learning methods in the classroom. Its main focus is experiential learning. And how can be done experiential learning? If we are not going to deal theories, we will have to also involve them in some experiential work. In whatever subject they are having interest, you will find different types of interest among the students. Some are interested in science, some are interested in mathematics,